What is difference between genetics and genomics? In the first part of this subject, we have studied about the genetics. Genetics is the study of heredity and how characters of the living organisms are transmitted from one generation to another generation. Or in other words, we can say that how the characters are transmitted from parents to the offsprings through the DNA. If we study certain characters which are transmitted from parents to the offsprings, it is called as genetics. Genetics involves the study of specific or limited number of genes that have a known function. Genetics deals that how genes guide body development, how they cause the disease, and how they affect or respond to the drugs. So, in case of genetics, we study limited number of genes, or we study the response of the drugs about the genes. On the other hand, genomics is the study in which we study the entire DNA or the entire genome which is present in the cell. So the difference between the genetics and the genomics is, in case of genetics, we study limited number of genes that can be one or more than one, while in case of genomics, we study the entire genome of that particular organism. Genomic study is usually performed with the help of computing and mathematical techniques, where we analyze large or enormous amount of the DNA. So during genomics, we have a large amount of data. For analyzing that data, we need help of the computer softwares. Genomics particularly deals with genetic variants that affect health, that affect the disease as well as drug response. If we take the example of the humans, genomics means to search or to study 3 billion nucleotides of the DNA. Or in other words, we are studying approximately 23,000 genes when we are studying 23,000 genes simultaneously, or we are studying all the nucleotide sequence of the genome, then it is called as genomics. Genomics is actually much newer field than the genetics and has become possible only in the last couple of decades. Once or after the identification of new molecular techniques like the DNA sequencing. When DNA sequencing was identified, then this new area of the genetics, which is called as genomics, was emerged. So if we conclude that what is difference between the genetics and genomics, genetics is to study specific genes or a specific number of genes or the characters which are transferred from parents to the offsprings. While on the other hand, if we study the entire genome of an organism, then it is called as genomics.